Well, blessings, everyone. I trust that you are doing well and you're pressing on in your homework, right? It is good to spend time daily in doing these lessons. Bite at a time, incrementally, you'll see so much more. So, this is lesson number two, the first video, and we're looking at the second chapter of Luke and the third chapter of Luke this week in the lesson. Right now, we're going to look at the first 7 verses. And you have to be sort of careful with these type of passages because we're very familiar with them. And sometimes that spirit of familiarity will rob you of some truths. And so quite often I have to just back off and say, okay, Lord, show me what's going on here. Let me see each word. Let me see what's happening. This time I've really been especially attuned to the timing elements that you see in the Gospel of Luke. He gives us a lot of timing things, tells us who was in charge, who was historically in leadership in the Roman Empire and the Jewish leadership of the religion, Jewish religion. You see all these little things, so pay attention to them. And we see here that a decree went out into all the world. Some interesting phrases that you'll see like that in Scripture. All the world. It doesn't mean the decree went to China. It doesn't mean the decree went to South America. It meant the decree went out into all the world that Caesar had authority over. So quite often people will point to that and say, well, it says all the world. What all the world says shows you that the Bible was wrong. No, that's not what it means. Over the region that he had authority, that decree went out. And the decree said that everybody had to go to their hometown for a census that was to be taken. Therefore, Joseph, who was a descendant of David, had to go to Bethlehem. Bethlehem means the house of bread. Isn't that interesting? And there Jesus was born. You see in the story that he was wrapped and he was laid in a manger. Now, a manger was just a feed trough. That's all it was. He was just laid in a feed trough right there. And it's interesting that the bread of life, Jesus is described later on as the bread of life, was actually laid where they would give corn feed to animals. In the book of Micah, you looked up some cross references this week, and you saw that the ruler of Israel would come from Bethlehem. And I believe that Mary and Joseph would have known that prophecy from Micah and would have known about what was going to happen. Just think about that for a moment. They both have encounters and dreams with Joseph. Mary face to face with an angel, and the angel tells her what's going to happen, and she winds up conceiving exactly in the same way. Don't you think that that would drive you to going back and examining the word to see what the Lord had to say about it? So I think they probably knew about the Micah prophecy. And when the decree came down that they were going to have to be going back, don't you know, they went, wait a minute, this is how the opportunity is going to rise, that we're going to be going to Bethlehem. It's a marvelous story. We'll look at more of it later, so keep on pressing on, and I'll see you again next time.